Detroit has lived by one principle. No grit, no glory.
Get me out clear, let me go. Tearing shreds off these guys.
To succeed here, the only thing that works
I'm killing the front tires.
is work. Takuma Sato knows the kind of work that can turn a career of missed opportunities into an Indy 500 victory. Only in this town is one race not enough.
These drivers took one heck of a beating. They're back and doing it again.
Twice the grit.
All right, champ, let's bring it home.
Twice the glory. It's time for the Detroit Grand Prix. It's time to go to work.
All right, fans, are you ready? Drivers, start your engines!
Rahal and Castroneves coming to the start of the Detroit Grand Prix. Oh, trouble. Hinchcliffe gets turned in turn 2. Castroneves inside of Rahal, turn 3. Rahal holds him off.
I don't think Hinchcliffe has any damage to his car. It's just barely punted.
His track position was damaged. Right now, just a local yellow in turn 2.
As we watch all these cars go around, guys, just watch how bumpy this race circuit is, as we see from James Hinchcliffe. He's telling these guys, I need to get started, because if it's a local yellow and the group goes past, he will be down a lap.
Caution is out.
All cars yellow.
That's the benefit for James. He hopes now they'll have him started before the group gets along. Pace car will come out. He'll be able to follow in at the back of the group.
Green, green, green.
Just a lot of tight maneuvering going on right now.
Cars need at least another half a lap to get the tire temperatures up to where they're operating properly.
What's happening up front is Graham Rahal's really wanting to prove that he's a strong contender, has had a strong season, maybe not as strong as he'd like to, a small team, as we like to say, with only one entry generally. He's got 2 this weekend with Oriol Servia. But the guy that's in second, Helio Castroneves, is driving for Roger Penske, who is the man here in Detroit and who is putting on this race. And there's no doubt that he wanted to be the guy to get to the line first, not only to start and also the restart.
And don't forget, Castroneves just finished second at Indianapolis, so he definitely has a head of steam when it comes to here to Detroit. He's been so successful here. His driving suits this place. This is not an easy racetrack.
A 3-time winner here, and he said when asked about it earlier this weekend that there's just something about the track from the first time he got here that has suited him. See, everyone is sorted out off the start. Ooh, a little wiggle there from Kanaan coming into 1.
And we talked about the bumps. You can see the back end of his car is just flying over turn 2 in the air a little bit. That's called a loose condition when the back end wants to come around on you. It's very difficult to keep under control. Some passing going on the back. Mikhail Aloshin doing a good job. Remember, he was just in the pit lane, marching his way forward.
The 18 that he went around, Aloshin, is Esteban Gutierrez, the former Formula One driver for the Haas F1 team, and for Sauber, who is making his IndyCar debut today. Dale Coyne says he hopes to have Gutierrez in the car for the rest of the season, but it's not done yet.
Rahal and Castroneves are going at it. What Rahal has to do is just focus on the road ahead of him. And Castroneves' job is to make sure he forces Rahal to look in his mirrors as much as he possibly can. Because when a driver starts looking in their mirrors, that's when there's potential to miss your braking mark by 10 feet, 15 feet. And that's when the car behind him is on you. And Castroneves, after finishing second at the 500, is dying to win here.
Scott mentioned tires. Again, the rule is each team has to run each of the compounds of tires, not the rain tires, at least once during the race under green flag conditions. Pit strategy here, Jan.
Yes, and Marco Andretti, as we just saw, Tony Kanaan do the same thing. These are the cars that don't have the pace or don't have the position. They're going with that three-stop strategy that we spoke of. The black sidewalls, the primary that you were just talking about, those are known to be the fastest race tire. So if you're not running fast today, come in early and get your race pace going, but you give up a lot of track position. And Alan, you were exactly correct. Hinchcliffe did not lose a lap, my bad. He is on the lead lap, so he's on a similar strategy to these other two.
So Jan, let's talk strategy here on the leader. The longer this race is run green and he's been able to be out there and hold his pace and his lead on these alternate tires, this is all working in his favor if he gets to pit road before the caution comes out, right?
Yes, indeed. This is exactly what you want if you're Graham Rahal or the top 3 or 4 right now. But as you said, if for some reason there were a caution right now, everyone who's already pitted would leapfrog all these leaders. So this is what we call the danger zone.
Yeah.
Right now, he loves where he is, but if there's a caution for any reason, it's going to backfire. And I can tell you, Alexander Rossi is one of these that are now laying out. They're saying, this is too dangerous. We want to now take new tires.
Well, we're getting into that open window now for the two-stop strategy. Last year, the winner pitted at 24 for the first time. The race winner on Sunday, Will Power, that just made 2 stops. So you see where we are now at 22. That window is open, and at some point, you're going to bring him in.
Well, we have to acknowledge that Rahal is doing an incredible job this weekend. He's been fast from the moment he got here. He's had a lot of bad luck. He's had multiple punctures this year. And he's just doing what he has to do. His job is to stay in front, and he's doing that with great ease. I know that strategy is going to play in a very, very important part today, but I hope for his case he doesn't get shuffled out. And those yellows they fall by chance.
Hear that his pit crew is laying tires out. So coming up about a half a lap away, we should see the leader on pit road.
Box, confirm. Copy, coming in.
And he comes in with a lead of 14.4 seconds on Rossi.
Got to get there first without a yellow coming out.
And I believe he's done it.
Not quite. Now he's got it. Leader on pit lane, under green. Rick?
Well, before the race, Graham Rahal told me he felt that he could use these red tires effectively. While they do fall off, he thought he could do a great job on them in terms of making them last. During the race, he said the rears were falling off just a little bit, but he's done the job he needed to do. Jan?
Yes, Alexander Rossi, you'll see him come into the picture as well. He's going to take the same lap for a pit stop for Graham Rahal. He's been on the radio saying this is really hard, meaning it's so hard to keep the red alternate tires underneath him. But again, just like Graham Rahal, they've hit the window. They make a front wing change because of the change of tires. Nice clean stop. That's 9.6 seconds, not lightning fast, but that keeps him in the game.
Caution out. As you see Charlie Kimball rolling away from a scene of a spin at the exit of turn 4. Connor Daly is stalled there, waiting for the safety team to get him a restart. So second yellow flag of the race, and front wing damage there for Kimball. There's Daly to get the restart. That's too bad. Connor was having a solid run.
His car looks fine, though.
Okay. And there are bits and pieces from Charlie Kimball's car that have been left behind on the race course. Green flag coming out. by Will Power on Pagano.
Teammates.
Wow.
Didn't seem like teammates there, did they?
I didn't say friendly teammates. I just said teammates.
I trust you've experienced this before?
I've experienced both.
I know somebody I've experienced it against. He's not going to comment.
These opening laps, these opening laps are so important when you're leading. We haven't paid enough tribute to Castroneves because he is really doing an incredible job. The last 3 races, he's been right on pace in front of his teammates. And an incredible Indy 500. And here we are in Roger Penske's city, and he's leading the race again.
Look at that spot on the track. You see those cars hopping up and down. What's that feel like behind the wheel?
It's very hard to control. I mean, you have to break away from the instinct of taking your foot off the brake, off the throttle, but it's very tiring, and it's just hard to control the car.
The bumpier the circuit, the easier it is to make a mistake. And we talk about braking zones. Eddie, you and I talked about that the other day when we were coming over here. The braking zones here, because they're so bumpy, your foot's acting like the ABS system on your car because you cannot push it too hard or you'll lock the brakes up here. Spencer Pigot on the inside making just a terrific move. 3 wide now.
Andretti. Marco Andretti with a nice move. Welcome to IndyCar, Esteban Gutierrez.
Yes.
In the 18. What a challenge he's bitten off. No test days. Got the ride, came in, never seen this racetrack before, never driven an IndyCar before. Go.
And what a nice guy. Like I mentioned, I spoke to him the other night as we see Ryan Hunter-Ray right now. Really pushing on Marco. Will he make it stick here? Nope, not being able to get on the inside. For Esteban, his whole goal is to run the whole series, and he would like to go to the next race at Texas. But we know the high banks there are not favorable to rookies, so he's waiting for some type of a waiver from IndyCar to see if he can test there so he can run the Dale Coyne car there next weekend.
He's going to do his first oval at Texas?
That's exactly what I said.
Alonso did his first oval at Indianapolis.
Oh, I'd rather be doing it at Indy. Texas is tough. Texas, it's a great racetrack. Great racetrack, but boy, you sure are close the whole time. It's one big draft.
There's your leader, Helio Castroneves. Our ESPN race strategist projecting that we should see Castroneves in now or very shortly. He's only opened up a 5.5-second gap on Graham Rahal. Here he comes. Here he is, Doc.
And he will need one more stop. Roger Penske calling him in. They will take blacks off, put black stickers back on. Castroneves, a 3-time winner here, trying to get his 4th victory. First win in 50 races. He's down and away, and will need one more stop here in another 24 laps.
And that was a quick stop.
Trying to hold off Spencer Pigot here in line. This would be for 12th and 13th place.
Castroneves will have none of it. Another 2 corners and his tires will be up to temperature.
So Helio from plus 5 seconds to minus 18 seconds with the trip down pit road.
And between Rahal and Sato, who's running second, there's a 4.4 second gap.
23 laps to go, waiting on a final pit stop from the race leader and another round of strategy to be played here in the Detroit Grand Prix. Alan Bestwick, Eddie Cheever, Scott Goodyear with you today. Dr. Jerry Punch, Rick DeBrule, Jan Beekes on pit road. Our entire ESPN on ABC IndyCar team. We're back again tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern Time for Detroit Grand Prix race number 2. Headline of the day so far, Graham Rahal dominates.
I'll go out on a limb here and say
Let's go to mix 4, so we'll have it for the out lap.
When he pits and it's a successful pit stop, strategy is over.
It's a matter of when the cautions wave, if the cautions wave.
If he pits before the cautions wave, he's in good shape.
What we were saying during break, guys, when we were watching it, just looking at his car is handling so well. He places it wherever he wants to. gets on the throttle quickly, deep braking, and his comment before, the car is working so well, it's getting better as he runs. Not often that happens, and here he is into pit lane.
All right, we're all laid out. Pits are open, nice and easy.
Well, this is the day that Graham Rahal has been dreaming of, a perfect day so far. Now, that doesn't mean it couldn't go wrong. Think about this. He was going to start second. He was a little concerned about that. He thought that meant that Elio Castroneves was going to be able to control the start of this race, but it hasn't happened. He's controlled it, Jan.
Yes, and there's a crossover. Of course, you could see that 11-second gap that Alexander Rossi had coming in now disappears briefly on pit road, but he has to take the service. Brand new black Firestones. They make a front wing change. Much quicker stop. That was a quicker stop than his first one, and now his job, of course, is to try and catch Graham Rahal, but Graham Rahal has had everything going his way so far.
Yeah, look at the distance between Rahal and Rossi, with a couple of cars now in between. There's Castroneves back into the picture. Oriol Serbia there in the 16 car is running in 5th, with Castroneves in 6th. James Hinchcliffe is the new leader of the race for the moment, with Dixon and Newgarden 2nd and 3rd. Hinch's team has tires laid out on the pit lane.
What a great race Hinchcliffe has had so far.
There he is. So from being right behind Graham Rahal in 2nd place, Castroneves is now 25, making 26.1 seconds behind this man, Rahal, and Castroneves back in 9th place. They went for the 3-stop strategy. Right now, Rahal and company are making this 2-stopper work perfectly. Oh, and by the way, they appear to have a great car being driven very well.
How about Dixon running 2nd?
Yeah,
only at 8.8 seconds from Rahal.
Worked with us earlier.
You're getting away from Dixon. You're moving away from him.
Dr. Jerry Punch talking with Scott Dixon earlier about the after effects of his terrible crash at Indianapolis a week ago tomorrow. And Doc, boy, he's in 2nd place.
Impressive running. And here's what Chip Ganassi told me. He said, this is a driver, not a daredevil. But think about this, guys. He said, Evel Knievel's longest jump of his career was 141 feet over the Caesars Palace fountain. He spent 29 days in the hospital. He said, my guy last week went 349 feet in the air and walked away. That's a race car driver. He said, not only is he a great driver, this kid is tough.
Oh, that's for sure, Doc. That's an incredible measurement, too, to just think about that. And again, nothing but praise from Scott for the safety built into these Indy cars and his good fortune and the safety team that was there. But to see him walk away from that crash last Sunday was really, really something. The Detroit Grand Prix for the Verizon IndyCar Series down to its final 8 laps. Graham Rahal has dominated the day so far, has a 6.6 second lead over Scott Dixon, working his way toward what potentially would be his 5th career win.
And he has 2 cars ahead of him that are battling fiercely for position. Let's hope they see the blue flag.
Esteban Gutierrez and Oriol Serbia. Serbia a teammate, so he gives way.
That makes his job a lot easier.
Yes, it does. So Graham Rahal married to NHRA drag racer Courtney Force. The NHRA folks are up in New Hampshire at the New England Nationals this week, and last night Courtney Force had a wild ride up in Epping. Car on the right side of your picture. And look at that.
Boy, oh boy.
It's amazing what they do. Look at the back wheels are off the ground, almost out of control.
Fortunately, she was fine, as you see. Qualified 2nd for the event. And now they may back up that. Talk about the highs and lows of racing and being in a high-stress profession, right? They're in separate cities doing their thing. That happens in one city, and he may end up going to victory lane in the other.
That was an incredible accident.
And Courtney's father, John Force, said last night in the telecast the main thing that he was thinking about once he found out his daughter was okay was to get word to Graham Rahal that his wife was okay, because Graham certainly would have heard about it maybe as he was on track.
So everything among the lead group is kind of spread out at the moment. It's 6.2 seconds back to Dixon from Rahal. Scott running 2nd. He's got about 5 seconds on Hinchcliffe in 3rd. It's about a second from Hinchcliffe to Joseph Newgarden, who is in 4th. Newgarden using a three-stop strategy in this one, and the highest up of those that have done that. Although I guess technically Hinch was on a three-stop strategy because he stopped after the spin on lap 1. Then Alexander Rossi has faded back to 5th place, 22 seconds off the race lead. Alushin, Sato, Castroneves, Ed Jones, Spencer Piggott back there rounding out your top 10. For Ed Jones, a guy who said he was kind of lost, that felt like they just had something wrong with their car after qualifying this morning. Nice solid day and a nice solid recovery for the 19.
Well, don't forget it's now 2 rookies on that team with Dale Coyne Racing, obviously with Sebastian Bourdais being out. And Sebastian, obviously a 36 race winner and also won here at Detroit, has a lot of experience that he could guide those rookies for. But Ed's saying, you know something, he still calls, he's on the phone, he's trying to give me tips, originally from his hospital bed, but now from his home in St. Petersburg, Florida. A true teammate.
What I find to be really shocking is Pagenaud in a Penske is 16th. And Power is 18th.
Yeah,
that's unheard of to have Penske cars that far back here in Detroit.
And again, the implications on the championship. Simon Pagenaud came in today, tied for 2nd in the championship. He's running back in 16th.
5 laps to go. Dixon's about 8 seconds back. You have the 18 between you.
Helio Castroneves started today as the championship leader. He's running back in 8th. Scott Dixon started the day just off the lead. He was tied with Pagenaud for 2nd in the championship. He is running 2nd in the race. So another potential shakeup as Sato comes in and has to take a splash of fuel.
Sato was another guy that was just hoping desperately for a yellow, and it never came.
I'm wondering if they didn't get the fuel into the car they intended to back at the...
I'm wondering the same thing.
Hey guys, I can add on that. They were always planning that they had to do another stop all along. They were just hoping, like you said, that they were going to get some yellows that were going to be able to stretch it out. But they knew all along they were going to have to do an extra stop.
All right. Well, so much for that finish. That's right. You did tell us that a little while ago. My bad, Rick.
We haven't heard one radio transmission from Dixon complaining of his ankle, but I'm quite sure, Scott, it's incredibly painful by now. These last 5 laps to go, it just takes a lot of discipline to keep your mind on the job of driving and trying to catch the leader.
Did you really think you'd hear Scott Dixon complain?
I think Scott Dixon actually is New Zealand.
7.5 seconds back to Dixon with the 18 between you.
I think Dixon is a New Zealand James Bond. When he did that crash at Indy, his interview was as if he had just gone to buy ice cream for his kids. I had never seen an accident like that.
The only time you would have heard Scott Dixon complain is if the doctors had told him he couldn't race. Then he would have complained.
But it would have been 2 words.
But his mom did send a note to him earlier this week, and when they chatted, and said that she wasn't very happy with him. I think anytime you see your son going through the air like that, and I think about my mom when I was racing and had crashes and things like that, and now having a son that's starting to race, you know, you do think about that sort of stuff.
Will Power just went a lap down to Graham Rahal. Wow, so it's a struggling day for Power, who again came into the race just 59 points off the lead in the championship. We were talking about Scott Dixon, and Doc spent a good bit of time with him yesterday after the conclusion of all the day's activities.
Yeah, it's amazing how Scotty didn't want people talking about his injury, talking about what he had endured at Indianapolis. He sort of got bashful about it. He said, I don't want people talking about my left ankle, my left leg. If it's broken, it's not broken. He said, I want to focus on what's going on here. But yesterday, late in the afternoon, when we sat and visited, he admitted that this is going to be a very difficult day. He said, my biggest concern is going to be fatigue, exactly what Eddie Cheever said a moment ago. The last 4 or 5 laps, being able to hang on. He said, I can push the brake pedal, but getting my foot off the pedal is very difficult. And then Saturday night, getting back in that ice bucket, getting the Advil back, and being able to use that foot again on Sunday. Right now, he's just trying to hang on. But you're right. He has not complained. He has not said a single word.
That's Scott Dixon.
Yeah, what a tremendous drive.
He always has the option, though, of not using that left leg and using his right leg to use the brake.
I would assume, not having driven one of these race cars you guys have, that's a little claustrophobic, finding a place to get that left foot out of the way. I mean, there's not exactly a ton of leg room down in there.
Well, it depends how much it hurts.
Yeah, well, there you go.
If it hurts bad enough, you'll find the room. Sorry.
how about this driver and how about this team and the performance that they've put on today? Graham Rahal said they've had speed, but he's been used to starting kind of back in the pack. And he thought if they could qualify up front here, they had a really good chance. Well, he qualified on the pole, and he is going to take the white flag next time by in position to lead all but 15 laps of this race.
If you're looking at it from our perspective, he has had the perfect race. There's been nothing dramatic. His lines are perfect. He hasn't blocked any tires under braking. He's gotten through lap traffic really well, and he's making it look easy.
Well, when you mentioned easy, what I watch for here, and for the fans at home, when you watch guys go around the racetrack, the cars that are bouncing around, those are the ones that are hard to drive. You see that green flashing light that was right behind Graham's head. That's the push to pass that we talk about. He's taking advantage of it now, using it, getting some more horsepower to try and stretch his lead a little bit from Dixon. He's very comfortable, but he's using it. He's being a smart race driver. And what I watch for in Graham's cars, it's going over all the bumps like it's got air suspension. The car is working so well for him, better than everybody else's, and he's doing a perfect job by driving it and not making a mistake.
An illustration of him having speed as he comes to take the white flag and start the last lap at Detroit, the last road course race on the road course circuit at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Graham Rahal started deep in the field. He started 20th and finished 6th. You do that, yeah, a little by strategy, but mostly by having a good race car, driving the wheels off it, and passing cars.
Well, and the other thing that's really impressive is that this usually, with the exception of this weekend and last weekend in Indianapolis, is a single-car team going against the powerhouses like Penske, like Andretti, and like Ganassi that have 3 or 4 cars on their teams to get information, data, and make the cars better, especially on a street circuit like this that you don't get a chance to test at. That's the impressive thing that I see right now with Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan Racing, and Graham Rahal.
But this racetrack does that every now and again. It has surprise winners, and it's nice to see Rahal's team get right back in front where they need to be. Obviously, qualifying in pole made his job a lot easier today.
Yeah, and I wouldn't call him a surprise winner, though. He has been so strong last year as a single car team, and this year he's done an astounding job.
Final 2 corners. 7th different winner in 7 races this season for the Verizon IndyCar Series, and career win number 5 to Graham Rahal at Detroit.
We won it, baby.
All right, Graham Rahal, you have finished 2nd here. You have finished 3rd here. You have finished 4th here. Oh, yeah, and did I mention that your father, Bobby Rahal, won here? How good does this feel as he gets congratulations from the entire crew?
Feels awesome, you know, just everything went according to plan today. And, you know, I said yesterday, one of my comments was that I felt like if I could qualify up front, I could dominate this race. And I got a lot of heat by the other drivers for that comment, but I think we did it. And I don't say things unless I believe it. And today, this car, United Rentals, Turns for Troops, we raised a lot of money to help our vets. But, man, I can't tell you how good it feels. I mean, it's day 1 of 2. We got tomorrow to do, but trust me, today it feels extremely rewarding. This year has not been easy for this team.
Let's talk about the emotions of a weekend. Yesterday, we saw the video of your wife in that the dragster flaming out on the run. You know, you have to go through something like that, then you come into a race like today. What are the emotions of a racing family like?
Well, I wasn't very happy last night, I can tell you that, and she'll tell you that. Obviously, I don't like seeing stuff like that. You know, I mean, I guess it's the nature of the beast, but certainly as a husband, I don't like to see it. But anyway, she's all right, which is good, and hopefully she can get a win there tomorrow. But look, you know, I've been pretty focused on what's going on here. You know, I wanted to win. I wanted to get a win for this team, for United Rentals, Steak and Shake, Pengrade, all of our partners, Hyatt, that have put so much into this. And it feels good to get a win for Honda here in Detroit. So pretty special day, and oh, man, hopefully we can go do it again tomorrow.
Well, Graham Rahal does have one more shot at it tomorrow. See if he can pull off a double weekend.
Make sure to tune into ABC on Sunday at 3:30 Eastern for Race 2 of the Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix.